Oh
I got all
wow.
this stuff. Yeah, and here we go.
Take a break inside your head to get a hold of yourself. But it's over now. I was missing everything and I forgot I felt. So many days I found, many questions I have I can't answer myself. And I just don't know how to make it right. Instead I live with things I never would tell. Never tell. All the good and bad things quickly pass me by. I don't know what I miss till I open my eyes. And I can see it all. I can feel it all again. Hope I don't lose control. And repeat this all again.
Well, hello there, my good sir. How are you?
Dude, long time awaiting for this to happen.
I know, man. I know. It's Thursday, February 12th, with your ultra super late Super Bowl reactions. And folks, we apologize, okay? Because we got pretty busy. All right. We had a lot of stuff go down personally. All good stuff, though, right? So, nothing bad has happened. But, just sometimes you get caught up with work, you get caught up with life. All right. Shout out to the baseball season fixing to
Yeah,
start,
yeah.
as you can see with the hat. So it's just, we've been locked and loaded, man. We've had practices like crazy, optional workouts, and all this other stuff. We got scrimmages going on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday in Kerrville, Texas. Um, and yeah, I figured, well, we might as well break the news to the world, and gonna be another dad. So
Congrats, man.
yeah, dude. So gonna be another
Congrats.
dad. We got the gender um on Tuesday, and we will be doing our gender reveal on Saturday night
I
after we get back from Kerrville.
should probably go live for that.
Should probably go live, right? I was definitely thinking about it. I was definitely, for sure, we're gonna record it, so that way, all the family, everybody that can't make it through. But we had to pull the plug really fast on this because over the course of the next 3 weeks, my oldest son has back to back to back tournaments,
Eesh.
and everything's out of town. We go from Austin, not this weekend, but next weekend it starts with Austin. The weekend after that goes to Houston, and then the weekend after that we go back to Austin.
Dang.
So, yeah, chat. We apologize. We
Yeah.
apologize for being late to the party. On top of that, we had some scheduling conflicts with Cisco being out of town last week. I was out of town this week for work, and so like I said, man, sometimes life just hits you, and some things kind of get in the way, but it's all good. We're here.
Yeah.
We're back in action. We're back in the saddle, and we are so happy to give you guys our Super Bowl
Yeah.
60 reactions. So
Just to ask chat to help us out so we can make this full time so that way we can get at you quickly. Soon.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. Please share it with a friend or a family member, whatever the case may be. The more the merrier. We definitely would love to do this full time. That'd be awesome. A lot of work does go into this stuff, believe it or not. Um, and with this just being our very first season, we really got a chance to kind of get a good glimpse of just what all it's going to take in terms of preparation, in terms of studying, in terms of software, what we use, and things of that nature. So it was definitely a learning lesson and a learning curve that we will continue to get better at. So as time goes on, we'll keep upgrading everything, and hopefully one day be able to bring you like a full on studio quality
Oh
sports
yeah,
show, sports
yeah,
podcast show. That'd
yeah,
be
Chad.
awesome.
I'm trending in that direction. Got myself a desk. Got myself a chair. So heading that direction.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the small wins, man. You know what I mean? It's the small steps,
Yep.
right? It's like old Giannis said, man. Just because you don't win the championship game or whatever, it doesn't mean that the season's a failure, right? It's just steps towards success, right? Steps towards the next chapter. We keep moving forward, brother. So,
Yep.
hell yeah, dude. I'm happy for you, man. Glad you. What kind of chair did you get?
Engine. Mm.
Mm,
Oh, I've got it off of Amazon. It was on sale.
nice.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
it's a nice reclinable one, and it's nice.
Damn.
It's
All
good.
right. Fuck
It's a
yeah.
good first chair.
Yeah.
Good first chair.
Well, I had a similar chair like that on my first chair. And but my bones don't like chairs without a whole lot of cushion. So I had to get an upgraded one. And so just rule of thumb, Costco makes awesome gaming chairs. So next go around, definitely get yourself a Costco gaming chair. It has like a little alien thing on the side of it. I don't know the brand, but they're really comfortable. Very, have all sorts of things that you can do to adjust, whatever the case may be. So if I could maybe throw a suggestion in there for the next chair, Costco for sure makes some really cool ones for,
No, yeah,
not
for
too
sure.
much, not too expensive. I think like 150 for
Not
the
bad.
chair. It's not
Not
bad.
bad.
But anyways, folks, without further ado, okay, we're here to talk Super Bowl. All right. Now, I did have my pick, which was the Seahawks, and I'm
Well,
happy.
well, I think before we even start getting into the game itself,
Okay.
think we gotta talk about your favorite commercial. Then we can get into the game.
Oh, you want to get into the commercial?
I want to get to that first. So, I
Man,
mean, I didn't really pay attention to the commercials until you told me. So I went to go back and look. And I'm like,
yeah.
man, hands down, best commercial ever.
I wonder if we could maybe get that pulled up. You think we can get that pulled up on screen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it would
Let me
flag
see.
it.
Yeah. Well, for those watching or whatever, the particular commercial that we're talking about is the 50 Cent DoorDash commercial during Super Bowl. And let me tell you, that brother does not disappoint on his level of petty. In fact, he makes me realize that I'm not being petty enough to my enemies. Like I
Oh,
consider myself a very good petty person, especially when I really want to be. But like, my God, this dude found a way to quite literally break into prison
oh man,
and be petty
consistently.
to his worst
Yeah.
enemy. So let me see if I can get this on camera real quick.
Man, breaking
Uh
into prison, first the documentary, then the interview on the
hopefully we
news
don't
channel.
get kicked off the air, but let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can
It's come to my attention that everyone's calling me a troll. Some said even king of trolls. First of all, I'm flattered, but I'm done with all that. I would never do a deal with DoorDash and quite literally deliver beef when millions of people are watching. I mean, who would do something like that? Delivering quality beef, it's more of an art than science.
All right, so first off, let's pause there for a second. You saw the little ABC book, right?
Yes, I
Okay,
saw
so
that.
that was a direct shot at Mayweather. Just so
Yep.
everyone's clear, for nobody who follows 50 Cent or has never heard of him or whatever the case may be, this dude has had a long beefing stand with Mayweather. And there was a viral video that went out during the whole ALS challenge thing with the bucket of ice. And 50 Cent calls him out and was like, I'll donate $750,000 if you can read a page out of a Harry Potter book. Of course, he says a little bit extra that I'm not allowed to say. You feel me? But nonetheless, hilarious as shit.
Oh, man.
Anyways, quick call out to Floyd Mayweather for sure. Let's move on.
Don't want to be too obvious. It's all about time.
Too obvious, right? Too obvious with the cheese puffs. Obviously a hit out towards Puff Daddy. Too obvious, right?
Yeah.
Cheese puffs, come on now.
And I'm always on time.
Always on time. Ja Rule, come on, dude.
Yep.
Ja Rule, we already knew it. Let's go.
Oh, they sell Combs. What a coincidence. No matter what kind of beef you have going on this weekend, remember DoorDash delivers. And you know what goes great with beef? A bottle of this beautiful Branson cognac, aged 4 years or 50 months. Who's keeping count?
Look at him laughing in the background. He was laughing in the background. Oh, shit. That was hilarious, bro. Absolutely hilarious, dude. The king of petty. So in case if nobody knows, all right, Diddy, the Combs, it was Sean Diddy Combs, and then the cognac was aged 4 years or 50 months, right? Which is the same amount of time that Diddy was sentenced for. So, dude, absolutely classic, absolutely hilarious. Shout out to New England too, right? Because then he came back on and did another one after the Super Bowl and gave all of New England 50% off their orders on DoorDash. So that was wild. That was absolutely hilarious.
What is he saying?
Other than that, man, I really wasn't too fond of the rest of the commercials. But what were you gonna say?
Well, could you point it down out to me? But on that New England one, he's like, I know how it feels like to lose. Actually, I don't.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That boy's winning, dog. Winning.
Oh man, that's some golden stuff. But I mean, speaking on the Patriots losing, I guess now you could go into what you're going to say earlier before I rudely interrupted you. Man, that stuff is golden though.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, man, so going back to the Super Bowl, like I said, final score 29-13. Absolute ass whooping by the Seattle Seahawks, who I chose to win. Okay. I don't know if there's any New England fans out there that are watching this right now. Okay. But just so you know, I brutally rooted against your team. Okay. For obvious reasons. Right. Number one, I'm a Dolphins fan. Okay. So that's number one. But number two, like I said earlier, earlier in the weeks when we were leading up to the Super Bowl, was that I felt like these New England Patriots were the luckiest of luckiest teams to ever make it to the Super Bowl. They didn't even deserve to be there, quite honestly, in my opinion, right? Who am I? I'm not an expert, never played the game, so who gives a shit, right? But I'm just stating my case, right? They didn't deserve to be there. It's as simple as that. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, I mean, I definitely agree with you because I think we've talked about it extensively about their regular season schedule, how it was so easy, and going into the playoffs, the teams they face, of course, there's always people online saying there's never been a team to beat three top five defenses and whatnot, but I think we talked about it where it wasn't the Patriots offense that won them the games; it was the Patriots defense that won them the games in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
And playing injured rosters and whatnot, like leading up to the Super Bowl, it's like it lined up correctly all for them throughout the whole season, which was crazy.
You couldn't have wrote this shit out any better. I mean, seriously, you can't make this kind of shit up. But literally, like you talk about an offense that was completely an offensive line that was depleted in the Chargers. Okay, the defense gave you hell, right? But you made one or two good plays that got you in the end zone, and the score was what it was. But then you fast forward to the Texans, no Nico Collins, no Dalton Schultz. The backup tight end gets injured in the second quarter, right? The weather shit, I get it. You had to play in that same weather. It wasn't like it was not raining for you either, but still, nonetheless. And then there was obvious question marks with CJ Stroud to begin with, right? And this dude decides to go off and play for the other team for a couple of quarters. And so, yeah, but that defense also gave you trouble. Okay. Then we fast forward to the Denver Broncos, who ironically had Bo Nix break his ankle, right, on the second to last play of the game against the Bills. So you go up against Jared Stidham, who quite literally lights you up on the first drive and is actually looking like it's going to be a game until a freaking blizzard of all blizzards decides to just roll through, and
Yep.
essentially it becomes just a running game from there, and who doesn't turn over the ball, right? And if you had to put your money on a 2-year vet who has started for 2 years versus a 4-year vet who hadn't played in 4 fucking years, your money's going to go towards Drake May, unfortunately, right?
Right.
But,
Right.
but nonetheless, make no mistake about it, you're a field goal away from losing that game. And after winning that game, you scored a grand total of 54 points going into the Super Bowl. Not to mention 7 of those came from the defense. On top of that, you were sacked 15 times. And you gave the ball up a total of, what is it? The Texans, 4 fumbles, 2 losses. The Chargers, 2 fumbles, 1 loss. So you fumbled the ball 6 times. You lost it 3 times, and you were sacked 15 times in those 3 games leading up to. Which goes back to your point of you saying that the offense wasn't winning those games. It was the defense. It was defense, a little bit of luck, and some injuries on the other side of the other team. So you
Now,
didn't belong.
and that's no, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's definitely true. Like, as far as the defense carrying up for those games, but I will say kudos to the defense for taking advantage of the situation. Because they could have
Absolutely.
easily, you know, wiped the bed with that, just like the Eagles did against the 49ers. The Patriots took advantage of the situation they're in. So kudos to that, right? So lucky that, but you just can't write that any better for them to go to the Super Bowl. Like that's like the
Yeah.
perfect story, the perfect
At,
path. That's
at
like
the end of
literally
the
the perfect
day,
path.
no one wants to admit it, right? No one wants to admit it. But at the end of the day, they were an average team that overachieved on one of the weakest schedules that was ever inputted into the system.
And
And that's it.
completed playoff run from opposing teams.
Yes. So, yeah, make no mistake about it, man. Coming next year, right? Obviously, they won't have the same structured schedule. They won't have the same week schedule. And outside of Christian Gonzalez and Drake May, if I'm anybody on that team, I'm, you're a liability.
Yep.
You're not an asset.
Well,
And
and
that
I mean,
and that's all the way down. I mean, that's all the way down to the practice squad because again, you are not going to have the same schedule. And so yes, you
right.
did go through all the top ranked defenses. I get that. But look at how you performed. Your offense was terrible. You couldn't score. You couldn't protect your quarterback. Will Campbell let off what 6 sacks, or there was 6 sacks in the Super Bowl. Will Campbell was responsible for letting up 4 of those. And that's supposed to be your perennial Pro Bowl left tackle. The same guy who sitting in front of a mic also said that, when you let up 1 sack a game for 12 games, you go work at Amazon.
Just
I mean,
what
I'm
off
just
for and
saying.
what.
I'm just saying, right? I mean, again, he's got that infamous video when he was with LSU that he's like, a defensive back or defensive lineman, you get 1 sack a game for 12 games, and that's all you do. You're a top 5 pick, but as an offensive lineman, you give up a sack for a game for 12 games straight. You work at Amazon. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, but that's not what we want to do. Well, my friend, um, Amazon's hiring, I think. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm definitely
Rex
sure
Ryan
that.
Rex Ryan went out on Get Up, I think, the following day on Monday and talked about Will Campbell and just how awful he played. But made a really good, solid point, which I thought was pretty interesting, right? Because it's something that we probably, as just fans, we don't necessarily know about, right? Because we're not professionals in this area, especially for scouting purposes. But somebody like him, being a longtime head coach and being involved around football his whole life, he called it out about his arms being small, called him a T-Rex. So you got a T-Rex out there at left tackle, makes no sense. He's like, he make an awesome center, which is where I would put him at if he was playing on my team. And so I was like, okay, I was like, yeah, that actually makes kind of sense. His arms are not lengthy at all. And not something that I necessarily thought about, but then as you're taking it all in when he's saying it, it's like, okay, cool. You know what? Yeah, you're right. They should be long armed. They're trying to cover
Yeah.
these guys from getting over the edge. They got to be long armed and be able to withstand that pressure. But man, those two rookies, that guard left tackle with Will Campbell and the guard that was there on the left hand side, was like, oh my god, dude, they were just getting pummeled left and right. It was crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, and I know you were talking about pretty much everyone's on the hot seat, right? For them, like, or it's not a guarantee for them, because they could be looking at a different team next season.
That's how I take it.
But I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, right? With Drake May being in his second year, obviously being in the Super Bowl. I, me personally, I think the expectations on him are to do that every single year, to make that game every single year and win one, right? So I don't I don't know how he'll fare with those expectations set on his shoulders like that. So I think it'll be interesting to see going forward, right? With those
Yeah.
expectations and how he performs under pressure like that.
In terms of expectations, it's going to be unfair to him. Okay, because the reality is that he ain't going back to the Super Bowl for a while. I'm just, let's just call it for what it is. After what we just saw, they ain't gonna get, like I said earlier, they ain't gonna get the same type of schedule ever again anytime soon. Okay. But we saw how he played against top ranked defenses, and he doesn't play that well. His decision making still isn't developed to a high level just yet, right? Not to that elite level status. Um, Statistically, he looks elite, right? But once you start paying attention to the competition, that the level of competition that he was facing, what was it like? All but like two teams that they played against this season fired their head coaches at some point, either throughout the season or at the end of the season. They all fired their head coaches.
Yeah,
So what does that tell you right there? Those franchises most likely were dysfunctional or falling apart or something of that nature
right.
outside the Bills. But even the Bills, for that matter, right? You played them twice, you won
Fired
one,
the
you lost
coach.
one, and the one that you won, you barely won. It wasn't like it was an utter blowout. So that's the other thing to look at right there. So the expectations, unfortunately, they're going to be high on him. But the only people who are going to keep it high on him is the media.
Yeah,
In my opinion, if you can walk away next season winning 9 games, 9 or 10 games, I think that's a plus because he still needs a lot more time to develop. You know, some of the guys on the sidelines were mic'd up. Guys who were on the defense, they're mic'd up. Love when he made that interception. Well, before that interception, he almost had another interception before that.
yeah,
And he talked about, he's like, oh man, I'm gonna get him. I see him. I see what he's doing. I see his tendencies and his traits. And he was talking about once he did get that pick, he's like, yeah, dude. He goes, I seen him. He makes this little hitch and he takes like a half a second to see if if the receiver's open before taking his shot down the field. And then he actually does a little send off or a little shout out to Matthew Stafford because he was like, man, it's not like Stafford where he just throws and it's like no look passes. So you don't know if he's throwing the ball to your guy or not. He's like, he's predictable. Stafford isn't, is essentially what he's saying. And so it made it that
yeah,
much easier. Once they figured out his tendencies, it was done deal. And that's the other thing that you're going to see a lot of. They're going to take a lot from this tape from these three 4 postseason games, these defenses are going to take a lot of like hard looks at these tapes and figure out what these defenses were doing because clearly it was agitating him and he couldn't get the ball out of his hands quick enough. So, what do you think they're going to be
Right.
attacking on film when they play them next season? They're going to be identifying those factors.
Yeah. And I had saw a video too where some people on the Seahawks defense, they said that they knew they had their number after the first sequence of the game. They knew they were going to
Oh,
win the game after the first drive that they were on the field. So I mean that just goes to show you that they already knew what the Patriots were doing,
yeah. Well, Josh
or
McDaniels,
even Drake May for that
he
matter.
did play a very predictable game. It wasn't like a typical Josh McDaniels type performance in terms of his play calling
Yeah.
ability, because there were a couple of plays that they did that they were able to find some success on early on, but he never went back to them or he never used them to set something else up. And I think that was very odd of Josh McDaniels to do that because this is the guy that's like the ultimate offensive extraordinaire, the guy that's able to, understand and dissect what a defense is doing on the fly and make those adjustments. So we
Right.
thought, right? Because fast forward now,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it truly just unravels just how valuable Tom Brady was back in the day, right? Josh, not saying that Josh McDaniels is a terrible offensive coordinator. That's not what I'm saying. But that's what we all thought was like, man, this guy's able to make adjustments on the fly. He's able to do this, able to do that. He's able to set up the passing game through the run game by doing this, or vice versa, or whatever the case may be. He understands how to get guys open, what plays to call to get guys open based on what the defense is giving him. But then you
Right.
go back and you look at some of this tape, and it's like, dude, Brady was changing coverages. He was changing
Mm.
protections. He was changing routes. He was calling audibles at the line depending on what the defense was giving him. So it just goes to show you just
Right.
how much an offensive coordinator can do, but then how much they have to rely on the
Quarterback.
quarterback to be able to determine, okay, once they come out in formation, what do we need to do from there? And it speaks
Right.
to the level that Brady played at for so many years.
Yeah.
So Um, but yeah, so shout out to Seattle Seahawks, right? So Sam Darnold finished off the night 19 to 38, 202 yards, one touchdown. Excuse me. Kenneth Walker, MVP, 27 carries, 135 yards. I think he had like 160 some odd yards from scrimmage total. What did you think about the MVP? Do you think they got the MVP right?
Yeah. So funny it's funny that we're talking about it because that Sunday morning, I was telling my brother-in-law because he asked me like, well, like who do you got winning and who do you got MVP? Of course, I said Seahawks winning. And I said, and the only way that the Seahawks will be able to win offensively is if Kenneth Walker goes off like how he's been going off, and he's going to win the MVP. And I mean, because just seeing him play in this postseason was like, man, he's like running with a purpose. And we talked about it too. He's in his last year in his rookie contract, so he's definitely playing.
Yep.
And
You called that out. Yep.
I don't know if you saw that video where the owner is like, yeah, he tried to negotiating with me like 5 minutes
Snyder.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
operations guy or whatever. Yeah, John
yeah,
Schneider.
yeah, the operations guy. Yeah, yeah. But no, I definitely think they got it right as far as who you can vote for. But I mean, who it really should have gone to, which I think you'll agree, is the special teams, right? Because most of the points came from their kicker, but also their punt men. Being able to spot those balls within the 10 yard line, even the 5 yard line, putting those balls there, and put them in the position where their defense doesn't have that short field, right, to the Patriots to score. But I mean, you can't vote for him, so I could see how they got Kenneth Walker to get MVP.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's no knock against Walker. I mean, you could have gone three different ways with this whole ordeal, right? Walker definitely deserved it. I mean, his ability to show patience in the pocket like that, behind the line, allowing the
That
line
was insane.
to dude, his
That was
patience was
insane.
unreal. And it's funny because, man, shout out to Chris Collinsworth. He's going to catch a stray in here, but shout out to Chris Collinsworth. There was not one single Patrick Mahomes reference the entire Super Bowl, and it was great. It was awesome. However, there was a reference to Le'Veon Bell, which that's all I kept thinking of every time this dude was running the balls. I was like, dude, this got Le'Veon Bell written all over it. And then next thing you know, he's going off and, because he's talking about how patient he is. He's like, man, he's got more patience than I do. He's got more patience than I do. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, Le'Veon Bell would just be so proud of this kid. And then I was like, yes, bro, like the perfect time, perfect reference. Cause I want to say that the ball got snapped. And that one, he like literally was basically walking to the
Walk.
line
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
just
I saw
burst
that.
right up the middle, like burst right up the middle and goes off for like a 12-yard gain. And it was like
Yep.
perfect. So you couldn't have drawn that up better, but nonetheless, right? So I think it could have gone either way. I'm not going to disagree that they got it wrong or whatever, because Kenneth Walker was definitely deserving. But yes, what's his name? The kicker, Jason Myers, 5 field goals, most ever in Super Bowl history. On top of that,
Super Bowl.
scored over 200 points on the season. It was the most points
Jeez.
scored, if I'm not mistaken, by a single player. He beat out LaDainian Tomlinson, who set that record back in like 2000 and I don't know, 4, 5, something like that. So yeah,
Jeez.
as a kicker, you scored the most points ever by a player in the NFL in a single season. All came from a
And
kicker.
most points you could get on a possession's 3. That's crazy.
Yeah, for him. Yeah, the
From a
most
kicker.
points you can get
Yeah.
from a kicker. Yep. So definitely shout out to Jason Myers and then Michael Dixon, brother. Michael Dixon, dog. I told you. I told you that, baby. I told you. Hook him, baby. Dude, Michael Dixon is just phenomenal. He's amazing. Best punter in the league by far. A surefire Hall of Famer punter, too. There's a reason that he was drafted. I believe he was drafted in the 5th round, and most of these guys, they go like 6th or 7th. I mean, these are like late picks that people typically make, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even if they do get drafted, a lot of them just go
Undrafted.
undrafted. So
Right.
that right there, just being drafted alone just spoke to his level. But you got to understand that this is a guy that literally won an MVP in a bowl game in college, because that's how good of a punter he was. He was the best player on the field in college football as a punter. I mean, this dude
That's
was
crazy.
he was a walking threat because he would pin everyone inside the 5. And
That
I had the absolute honor to go watch him play against Texas Tech.
dang.
This was that was the last game of the season. I remember it's right around Thanksgiving time. Me and my wife went. We got to go watch Texas Tech play, and I believe Sam Ellinger was the quarterback at the time when he was playing, and Texas Tech won, right? But he was definitely the best player in that loss. He pinned Texas Tech inside that 20 almost on every single punt that he had. And you would watch him kick, and dude, we're talking field flipping kicks, right? Well, we're pinned inside our 20 and he's flipping the field on him, and a perfect spiral in the air. It's like literally like a quarterback just threw it in the air. And you're just sitting there just,
Dude,
oh my
he kicks that thing
God.
far and high, like that hang time on
Yes.
that thing.
Well, he's an Aussie. So he grew up playing rugby. That was his thing. You know what I mean?
Mm,
That was his thing. And then guess who his cousin is?
I don't know.
Cameron Dicker, the kicker from the Chargers. They're
Ah,
they're related.
wow.
Yep. Who
and he
also
and he
went
it,
to
he's a pretty.
mm,
I was gonna say because Cameron Digger's a pretty good kicker too.
very good kicker. Very good
Yeah,
kicker. But yeah, dude, Michael Dixon, man. I mean, he had 7 punts. 3 of them were inside the 20. Actually, those 3 that were inside, they're actually inside the 6.
yeah,
I put inside the 20. They're actually inside the 6 yard line. I mean, and you're talking one of them in coffin corner, bro, which is one of the hardest kicks to make.
dude, dude. The one that I think was phenomenal was the one I think it landed on the 4 yard line and it just like hooked left out of bounds. Like
Yeah,
it
that's the
dropped on the
coffin
floor and it
corner.
just hooked left.
Yeah, that's
Dude, I was
coffin
like,
corner right there.
dude.
It is one of the hardest kicks to do because you have to land the ball towards the sideline inside the 5 yard line, but you can't get in the end zone either. And essentially have to make it
Mhm.
drop and make it peel off out of bounds.
Hard.
Hard. Yeah, it has to be just like a dead stop. And so they have to angle the football kind of up high so that when they kick it, when the football's landing, like here's the floor, football's landing, it goes here and just dies. As opposed to over the top, because if it goes over the top, it
And
rolls and goes into the
it'll
end
roll
zone or
forward.
something of that nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of different tactics and styles that these punters use. And obviously Michael Dixon just being as good as he is, man. Like I said, this kid right there, he's going into the Hall of Fame. I can guarantee you that, dude. With just his ability to and he's made so many phenomenal punts. You can go back and look at some of his highlights just with the Seahawks. And then not to mention the shitty snaps that he was getting on the field goals. That's another thing that people are not giving him a whole lot of credit for. This dude was handling some crazy snaps, like balls bouncing off the ground, grabbing them and still having enough time to set it for the kicker.
Put it down. Yeah.
And so it's like you could easily argue that Dixon should have won even over Jason Myers just for the simple fact that without him handling the snap, there is no kick.
Yeah.
So,
Man, yeah, that that was definitely a performance by the special teams. Cause
oh
man,
yeah.
that was so
Well, it was a
that was
performance
so
just
good.
all it was a crazy overall performance from all 3 phases. I mean, you literally with the Seahawks, you literally got to see what elite execution from all 3 phases truly looks like. From
Yeah.
offense to defense to special teams. Now I know Darnold didn't have like the most craziest night ever. But when you go back and you watch that tape and you just see the way that the lines were getting after him. I mean, dude, what's his name? Milton, the defensive tackle from
Oh yeah, the
New England.
Patriots.
Yes,
Mhm.
bro, he was getting at. I mean, he had Darnold dead to rights, and Darnold was sitting there
Yeah.
shifty, moving around in the pocket, and he
Well,
was laying some
he
darts.
broke.
It's just the coverage was tight.
Yeah. Well, and he was able to evade a few sacks, but I mean, also even though Darnold didn't have like a spectacular game like he did against the Rams, we've always said that the only thing Darnold needs to do is play average, not turn over the ball. And that's exactly what he did in the Super Bowl. Play average, not turn over the ball, and they won.
Hmm.
Right. So, I mean, he definitely did his part on not trying to do too much. Just um, not not throwing those picks, not fumbling the ball. If it's not there, don't force it. Although I think it was like the first drive, I think he forced like two throws where they almost got picked. But then he started to realize, okay, oh, I mean, and also kudos to the coaching staff for the Seahawks because they're like, okay, we know where we're playing well at. We know the defense is where it's going to be at, so we won't force the offense. It'll just go back in the defensive hands, and obviously they even got a pick six out of it, So it's like they
Yeah.
definitely knew w- what was out there, what was playing well to their benefit, and they definitely used that to their advantage.
But and make no mistake about it, Darnold played I mean, again, statistically, it doesn't look good. It's not standout performance. It's not like what he did against the Rams. Like 28 completions, 354 yards, 3 touchdowns. It wasn't a performance like that. This was a performance that goes down where you have to watch it and to see, you know, I mean, his performance was clutch. He had that quarterback scramble. Remember, he rushed for like 12 yards, juked out a defender in
Yeah.
the process. I mean, dude, he was making smart decisions with the football. He wasn't getting chaotic with it. It was simple stuff. Man, he had JSN wide open, bro.
Oh yeah, when
JSN
you
was
missed them.
wide
Yes.
open on that little hook and curl go route or
But
whatever. I was like, oh
but he did
my
have that
God.
pressure on him though.
But he was
He
escaping the
had that
pocket.
pressure
He
on him.
had a lot of pressure coming
Yeah.
his way, and he had to get rid of the ball as quick as he did. But my God, dude, JSN would have been wide, and it would have been so beautiful. It'd have been so beautiful. But nonetheless, yeah, here's what I don't like is I don't like the fact that these shows have gone on all week this week and have basically tried downgrading Sam Darnold's performance. Um, and basically saying that you could have plugged 10 other quarterbacks with that team and you would have had the same result. And some are arguing that they would have scored even more points than what they did. And I think that's unfair. And I think that that's wrong that they're treating Sam Darnold that way.
Yeah.
Because can you not say that about a lot of Super Bowl winning teams? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, all the teams that have won the Super Bowl, if you'd have plugged in, 9 or 10 other quarterbacks, as they say with the Seahawks, would they have not been able to produce the same result? I think so. You put Joe Burrow on the Eagles last year, would he would have been able to win? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You put Lamar Jackson with the Eagles, you think they would have probably won? Absolutely. You put Josh Allen there, would he have won? Absolutely. You can do that with every single winning team in the Super Bowl, just about.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
No, yeah.
unfair to sit there and treat Sam Darnold with the respect that or the disrespect that people have been giving him just because they're saying that oh, the defense was that good and it almost kind of reiterates they're actually calling the New England Patriots weak when yet they were sitting there praising them for being one of the top defenses and oh yeah, they're great, this is an amazing team, this is a top 5 team or whatever the case may be. Well, you're contradicting your statements there by saying that you could have
Yeah.
plugged in 10 other quarterbacks to beat the New England Patriots. That's basically you saying that the Patriots
Yeah.
suck. When yet in the very same
Yeah.
sentence you're
No.
also praising them at the same time. So you make
Yeah.
no
No.
sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I mean it's definitely not fair to do that to Darnold. Because like we said, I mean, he had some good plays throughout that game. Like we said, escaping the pocket, evading sacks. Like breaking them off and hitting some shots. But I mean, he played the game where it's like, okay, this is how we win. Obviously, don't turn over the ball, right? So not
Mhm.
to force things and whatnot. Just do, just stay composed in the moment. Don't rush. Don't force anything. To make errors and whatnot. So. I mean, it's definitely unfair to put that on Darnold like that to say like, hey, all these other quarterbacks would have won because like just like you said, you could throw all these other quarterbacks in different games and they would have won too, right? So I mean, but they won it with him, right? And
Exactly.
who's to say, um, on the NFC Championship game if there was a different quarterback they would have won because they won because of how he played that game.
Exactly. The real Super
So
Bowl happened the 2 weeks prior against the Rams. That was the Super Bowl.
right,
You know what I mean?
right.
And we
So
called it back
so
then.
I
We
mean
as
him,
soon as we saw it, we're like, okay, NFC's winning. No matter who
yeah,
goes. If it's Seattle or the
yep,
Rams, either one of those teams is blowing out the Patriots. So it was a foregone that was the
hmm
Super Bowl. And what a shootout it was. But you're exactly right. They won because of the play off of Sam Darnold. Now plug 10 other quarterbacks in there. I
Yeah.
guarantee you don't get the same result. So yeah, that's a
Right.
good call on your side too. Yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah. Not a lot of people are talking about that. They're just talking about the Super Bowl, how you could plug in all these other quarterbacks, but they're the reason why he won the NFC Championship because of his play,
Exactly.
right? Because
Right.
we talked about it. That's like MVP caliber stuff, and no one's talking about that game on how they got there, right? So like it's just unfair on that end. So
That's why I like my boy
yeah, it's
Ernest Jones, dog. You know what I'm saying? He go up on the mic, baby. Like, I'm the last guy y'all should have let on this motherfucker. Like, let's go, brother. But hey, I need that shirt. I need that shirt,
yeah,
dog.
that's a dope
That
shirt.
shirt was
That's a
fire,
dope
bro. I was
shirt.
like, oh, wait,
Yeah, that's a dope
God,
shirt
brother.
with
I
the
sent it to
sig
the wife
too.
and I was like, you
With
better
the
get me this
sig.
shit. Dude, with the cigarette, fucking hell yeah, bro. I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
damn, son.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
that
we
shit's clean. That shit's deeply.
dude, we may have gotten I feel like we may have gotten kicked off of YouTube. Are we still on YouTube?
Really? Let me check.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the YouTube symbol up here. We're only live on
Yeah.
Twitch. We're still on
No,
YouTube?
it's up.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay, okay. All right. Yeah, we're getting audience members off of Twitch, believe it or not, man, which is pretty cool. So if you're joining us off Twitch,
Nice.
man,
Appreciate you
that's awesome,
guys.
man. I think y'all are the first set of people to join us on Twitch, man. We appreciate y'all joining in the show live. It's awesome. Welcome to the show. But anyways, yeah, dude, I need me that shirt, baby. Cause that shirt was bad to the bone, dog. Sam
Yeah, I
Darnold.
know that was definitely a yeah, dude. That's definitely a great shirt. Definitely,
Well,
definitely. And I don't know if you saw the stats they put. They put this year's Seahawks defense ranked third all time.
in
Third all
terms of
time
defensive performances
best
or
defense.
just
I I just saw that the headline it just says like top defense and our top defenses of all time, whatnot, and they had them at three.
for the Super
They're just
Bowl or for
comparing
the
it to
season?
I didn't dig into it, but
Oh, okay.
I think it was the Super Bowl because they were comparing it to the Eagles defense last year, and they ranked
Yeah.
them like at 40th or 44th, something like that.
Wow.
Which they were like, what? Like how does that? So I'm assuming probably Super Bowl performance.
I mean, dude, they put on a show, literally. I mean, they sacked him, they sacked Drake May what, 6 times, I think. 2
Hmm.
interceptions, one of them a pick six, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Like you can't I mean, brother, you can't argue that type of performance. It was a dominant, absolute dominant performance by the Seattle Seahawks defense. So yeah,
No, it definitely was.
hands down. But
I'm over here trying to throw my, my Eagles back in there.
hey, I wouldn't blame you. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. But you know, man, it's uh it's been a long season and it's crazy to think that there's no more football, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no more football for the
What we
next six
started with.
months. Yeah, there's no more football for the next 6 months. We do have the draft coming up. I believe it's in April. So I'm really excited for that because I'm kind of curious to see what some of these teams are going to do. We'll definitely, um, as we switch gears here and we start going into some new topics and whatnot that we're going to talk about on the show, we'll definitely kind of retreat a little bit as we get towards the draft because we definitely want to put in some opinions about what we think is going to happen in the draft. Whether people are going to make some trades. Obviously, we got Miami that's officially going to decide to move on from Tua. So that's going to be a big thing there, right? Where are all these offseason free agents going to go? Malik Willis, I know, is going to be a hot
Yeah.
commodity because he made some flashes this year with the Green Bay Packers. Mike McCarthy getting hired as the head coach for the Steelers. Is he going to pair back up with Aaron Rodgers? All talks on the street was that the locker room actually really loved having Rodgers in the locker room, which is, I don't know if that's a shout out to him or if that's a call out to the Jets because right we got different different opinions from different people how everything went out
Yeah.
with in New York. So there's those things right there. Stafford coming back, right? I think he made that pretty clear in his MVP speech that he's coming back next season. So that's going to be something to look out for.
Shout out
Um,
MVP.
and then just contract signings, right? We talked about Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. He's up for a contract. JSN's up for extension. You got CJ Stroud up for an extension. Kyler Murray's on the cusp of leaving. They don't know what they're going to do with Kyler Murray.
Yep.
They still have to negotiate. He's got a guaranteed contract coming up this season where if he's on the roster by a certain day, then that contract, they're stuck on it. They
Have to
owe
pay it.
Kyler Murray that money. Yep, they have to pay it. However,
Yeah.
the remainder of his contract has zero guaranteed dollars on it. Zero. So, what are the Cardinals going to do? Are they going to extend him? Are they going to move on from Kyler Murray? All signs are pointing that they get rid of him and they trade him. And the question is who picks him
Yep.
up? There was a big time contender going in for the Jets. I think that would be a horrible place for Kyler Murray to play. I think that'd be a horrible place for any quarterback to play. Just saying, there's a reason why the quarterback from Oregon chose to go back to Oregon instead of entering the draft because
To Oregon.
because all mock drafts pointed that he was going to get drafted by the Jets. But I hate to spoil it for the brother, but chances are they're going to be looking for another quarterback next season too, dog. I hate to break it to you. They ain't finding their franchise quarterback this year. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So it's like, brother, I'm sorry, man. The Jets are going to do what the Jets
Yep.
does. But who does Miami take, right? Who does Miami ride with? Do they ride with Quinn? Are they able to trade Tua? Do they just flat out release him? There's all sorts of different things that are going on, man. Lots of stories that can definitely make for some interesting
Well,
conversation.
I
So
mean, all the movement from coordinators, head coaches, and GMs, and
yep.
there's so many different movements. It's
Yep.
crazy.
10 different opening
Can't even
jobs
keep
this
up.
year. It was crazy. Yeah. 10 new job openings. Just good hires. I think they had some good hires this year. John Harbaugh to the Giants. Clint Kubiak to the Raiders. So
Raiders.
definitely some, Mike
Joe
McCarthy to
Brady,
the Steelers. We've
Bills.
already talked about that. Yep. Joe Brady to the Bills. So it's like definitely some good moves. It's a couple of question marks, right? Especially with the Dolphins. We don't know. It's a first-time head coach, and we kind of went through that whole process, right? That this is yet again another first-time head coach that they've hired. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And until we change those trends, the same shit's going to happen all over again, right? So Jeff Hafley will quite literally last 4 years, and we'll be back in the head coaching search all over again. So, that is what it is. Dolphins will do what the Dolphins does too. But you know what's really funny though, or not funny, but you know what I found very interesting? Jeff Saturday, right? He was on ESPN this week, and he actually gave the Dolphins some praise, but for odd reasons. And he said that there's two toughest that the two toughest places to play. I believe he said one of them was New York, and that the other place was Miami. That those are the two toughest places to play football in. New York just being what New York is, right? Media capital of the world. They demand a lot of expectations from you and whatnot, and so you hear a lot about it, especially off the field. But then Miami, just because of all the distractions that you have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely know what you're
The
saying.
the distractions, dog.
Yep.
The the distractions. You feel me? So I
which
thought
is
that was
which is
I thought that was pretty interesting
why,
that he said that.
yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, which is why Ilya Taporia is not fighting for a while. Found distractions in Miami.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, well, he got caught up in those distractions. Now they're backfiring.
Uh-oh. I haven't been keeping up with that. So that's what's going down.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting, brother. Yeah, it sucks, man. As a lifelong Dolphins fan, all I've ever wanted was for them to be competitive, and we have yet to be competitive my entire life. Truly. Even when we
I
make the playoffs, we're
mean
not
that
considered to be like a threat to anybody.
no, I mean I think that one year it was pretty. Was it 23, 22, 23?
Brother, you realize we nosedived in that season, right? We had like
No,
a we had like
when
a
was the
stretch of
season?
10 games. It was 23. We had the stretch of games is like 10 games. Well, I mean, we started off like 7-0, and then I think we finished off the season like 10-7. And by that time, Tua wasn't even Tua had gotten hurt at some point throughout that season. And luckily he made it back in
Oh,
time
that's
for the
right.
playoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we got to go up against the Chiefs first round, and all of a sudden Tua can't throw the football and Tyreek can't catch. So, it was just a pitiful performance because and of course we were playing in Kansas, at Arrowhead where the temperatures were blistering cold, and as they always say that the Dolphins can't win in temperatures under 40 degrees. So it's like the
Yeah,
only opportunity that
that's
they
the
have
thing.
to be
That's
to have any remote success in the playoffs is to quite literally get the number one overall seat. So that way you guarantee yourself home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs.
yeah,
So that way you're
yeah.
playing in Miami.
They finished 11-6 in the regular season. They lost weeks 17 and 18 to the Ravens and Bills. Dang, they lost to the Ravens pretty bad, 19-56.
Yeah.
And then lost pretty bad against the Chiefs in the playoffs.
But anyways, man, like I said, we look to move on. Right? We look to move on and all
Yeah,
things come to an end.
I mean,
And we just want to say thank you to the 2025-2026 NFL football season because man, it was full of highs, it was
yeah,
full of lows.
our first season.
Yeah, it was full of highs, it was full of lows. It was a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, you had some crazy storylines come out. You had interesting topics, you had interesting games, teams losing to teams that shouldn't be losing to. Carolina coming out of the woodworks. It was like, holy cow. Who would have thought about that?
Teams that
So no,
started off hot and didn't make the
yeah,
playoffs.
mellowed out. Chiefs don't make the playoffs. That was crazy. Mahomes go down with an ACL tear. It's like, holy crap. Micah Parsons tearing his ACL. It's like, whoa, shoot, dude. I mean, they started off hot, easily Super Bowl favorites throughout the first 3 weeks of the season. And they wet the bed. The Bears coming out of the woodworks, dominant defense, dominant offense. Look for them to be another contender next year. So it's like, dude,
Yep.
um, it was a crazy season. I know that I had fun covering it for sure. Um, I told you I wanted to kind of have a show to kind of show everything, but obviously we kind of had to force this one on us, instead of doing it tomorrow, we're doing it today. But um man, for those everyone at home, it's like, dude, we there's a lot of stuff that goes in the back end of putting these shows together, understanding what's really going on, with stats and with stories and just everything that's happening. We got pages upon pages of
Yeah,
stuff that we write down. I mean, just what I have right here. This is just a quick glimpse. This is just one little notebook that I have, right? That's full of notes.
yeah,
But I have a journal. I have a journal in my room. It's like a 100-page journal, and it's like halfway filled out front to back. Yeah.
yeah. It's
So
constantly keeps going, chat,
yes,
and
that
that's
it's
because
a
I
lot
threw
of
papers away
study.
too.
Yeah, and half of my stuff gets written on Word that I wind up deleting after every single show. So and that's everything from football to the show itself to how the show is going in terms of questions that we're going to ask, intros and exits, and just different topics. It's also, I got notes for days on my phone, man, of just different ideas that I have, as we progress through this. It's like I want to try making this show better and obviously make it more attractive to the audience for sure. So um but for everyone who's came in and has
Yeah, I
watched us
mean,
week in and week out, we just want to truly say thank you, because we did it for you. We did it for you. On top of doing it for us, it was primarily for you guys. We wanted to kind of give a platform where everyone can kind of speak, um, because we want to. We're fans, right? Just because we never played the game, just because we're not professionals, just because we don't have some fancy degree, doesn't mean that we can't have an opinion to say something. And so we obviously try to use the chat anytime that people are joining us live. They have the opportunity to put in their own messages and their own words, and we display them live so that way everyone can see. Um, but because we want everyone to be able to have that platform to speak on their opinions, right? And what better way to do it than doing it on here?
yep. No,
So
no. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Um, appreciate all the like the views, likes, and interactions we get, like on TikTok. I know that's been blowing up on a few videos, but this is definitely
yep.
not a sign off chat. We're still gonna keep going and give y'all shows, and we're just transitioning to a different gear for the off season. So be ready for that. That'll be interesting. Get y'all's feedback during our lives, So still looking forward as to what's to come. So it's gonna be fun. It's
Yeah.
it's a
And
fun journey.
definitely one of the topics, just so we can just kind of get what do they call it, the cat out of the bag. um Definitely one of the early topics that's come to mind is the WWE. I think that there's quite a few fans on that regard, and probably I feel like there's not enough platforms talking about it. So I think that would be a good realm for us to get
No,
into.
it's not.
What's that?
No, I said yeah. There's not. I mean, the only uh, stuff I really see people talking about wrestling is like ex pro wrestlers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I think Stone Cold has a podcast, Undertaker has a podcast, Stephanie McMahon has a podcast. I think Cody Rhodes has a podcast, and I think those are like the top four. Um, and then obviously people kind of have like their own little TikTok channels where they watch the show live and record themselves live for their reactions and stuff like
Live.
that. We just want to kind of perform more from
Yeah.
just from a critical standpoint, right? We want to look at the shows and try to dissect some of the things that we see going on, um, that have either made it better for the audience or made it worse. And I think a lot more people would say that things have gotten a little bit worse rather than better, in my opinion. But I guess it just depends on, which side of the table that you're on, dog. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
for sure.
Um, but yeah, so we'll definitely be touching into WWE. We'll also jump into pretty much any topic out there right now, man. We'll just be looking to see kind of what's on everyone's minds. What are the most up to date topics, cool things to look at. We definitely don't want to get political or nothing like that. That's not what this show's about. Um, but we want to make it fun and entertaining for everybody. So feel free to drop a comment, right? If there is a topic that maybe you like to discuss or something that you like to maybe get an opinion on from Cisco or myself or even Lupe, if we can ever convince him to get back on. I don't even know if that's him probably the one watching. That's probably him watching. But I know
Yeah, it
Cisco's out
could.
there, man. He's been doing some good things, man. He's been doing some great things. He's been out there. He's been
Loop,
hustling, trying to grow
loop,
his
loop,
business.
loops out there.
Yeah, I tried getting him to do a surprise guest tonight, man, but he's hard at work, man. He's like, dude, he's like, I got to get my ass to bed. He's like, I got to get up early in the morning. He's like, I'm sorry, I would, but I got to get up early and I just can't be up late. It's like, hey, I respect that. So we all got jobs, we all got lives, we all got shit to do. You know what I mean? But anyways, that's about all I got. Cisco, what about
Sure,
you?
100%. No, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely excited for these topics, coming up, and just like you said, if whenever we're on and you think of a topic that you want us to talk about, just drop it down in the chat. Um, we we generally like to do research on it, so that way we could take some different angles. Um, so a topic.
It's definitely cutting to that time where you're cutting out, my friend. You're cutting out.
I
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Jamon Lee. Jamon.
hmm.
Hello.
No, I was gonna say not just chat. Just drop down your topics whenever we're on. If you want to hear us talk about some, and we generally like to take notes, right? Go do some research and take notes on a topic, so we could take some different angles and different perspectives on certain things, and just tackle it from all angles. So, but no, if there's something that you want to hear us talk about, like Steve said, we're gonna be going into wrestling here soon, So, but and it's open to pretty much anything and everything. Like Steve said, we don't want to get too political or anything like that, but um, there's a lot of different stuff things out in the world to talk about, right? Sports, stuff that's happening, real life stuff, buying a house and shopping for groceries, buying a car, stuff of that nature too.
Oh,
So it's like,
yeah.
there's like a lot of different things we can talk about, but yeah, just keep on tuning in, give us your feedback on what you like, don't like, and what you want us to talk about, don't talk about. So, but no, just definitely appreciate y'all, you guys staying with us throughout the football season. And like I said, it's not a sign off. We're still going to continue to do this, and going to hit it off for the next football season too. So
Sweet, man. Well, we'll make this a short show. We'll wrap this up, and we appreciate y'all listening. Again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications bell too, so that we can get alerted anytime that we go live, and that way you can kind of tune in and chat, man. Let's have a conversation. But
yeah.
until then, we'll see you guys next time. All right, peace.